Hey everybody, what's up? What's going on? Okay, so I wanted to do, this is going to be super fast, be super quick because because I want to make this kind of clear and just put this out there right now. As some of you saw or may have seen my post asking if you would be interested in a twin flame reading, I just added, hey Sandy, hey Ashley and Amanda, I just added onto my website where you book your private readings, that's soulalignedreadings.com. I just added 2 readings. So super fun thing. So in the past, if you went on my website for readings, you saw my soul connection reading, my email reading, my 30-minute and my 60-minute readings. And I have been adding some super fun stuff. I've been adding the card spread readings. So now I'm doing larger card spreads. So I had the 2020 New Year's mega reading. I mean, you can still do the 2020 New Year's mega reading and find out, what is projected, the energy projected for all areas of your life for 2020 and for each season. It's super cool. If you had one and you're watching this, comment below what you thought of yours. Hey Cynthia, hey Cody, hey Mercy. So then I also have a past life reading. I have a past life reading as well to find out some information or clarity or energy around your past life, okay? And now I've added 4 love readings. Like love, because it's February, right? It's time to start thinking about love. Typically, we think about it every day, right? Let's face it, we think about love every day. But this is February, Valentine's Day is around the corner, so this is when we tend to get like super into what's going on in our relationships. How do we feel? Love is in the air, all the things. We get a little cray-cray when it comes to love, right? So I thought I would add 4 readings. Hey, Glenda and Elise and Sherry. So I added 2 readings for soulmate readings. So there's one is manifest my soulmate reading, which is if you are single and you're looking to manifest your soulmate, or maybe you're just getting out of a relationship or you're tired of the patterns of toxic relationships and you're looking to manifest your soulmate, I have a card spread reading for that. Then there is a reading for a current relationship. So is this my soulmate relationship? So it's a really large card spread where I look at each person and do a card spread for each person, and then a couple of cards to determine what the energy is around the relationship, what's the potential outcome. So that is called, I believe it's called, Is This My Soulmate Relationship? Then I have 2 twin flame readings. So the twin flame readings are meet my twin flame, like will I meet my twin flame? So it's a card spread that tells you whether you're going to meet your twin flame in this lifetime or not. And then there is a reading for, hey Gemma, hey Julianne, hey Sarah, if you have met your twin flame, there's a card spread and a card reading for that. What is the energy around your relationship? What are the lessons you're here to learn from each other? And what is the potential outcome? So that's where we're at with all the readings that I'm talking about in these posts. Now, with that being said, I want to be sure when you're looking at my website and you're choosing which reading you want. Sometimes I think it's often, twin flames are often mistaken for soulmates. And I want to make sure that you all understand the difference, because when you're booking it, hey Shannon, you want to be sure that you're booking the right one for you, okay? So a soulmate relationship is, in my opinion, this is my opinion. I'm sure all different psychic mediums and intuitives have their own opinions. This is me, so take it for, take what you will with it. Take what means something to you or resonates, and you can do whatever with the rest. But this is how I feel about my own experience and what I've seen, what I've read, and what I've studied is that a soulmate relationship is really what we're going for. So it's almost like your life partner. This is what you're going for. Well, I shouldn't even say life partner. Scratch that for a minute. A soulmate is somebody that you are very connected with. You know you have a deep connection. You resonate with them deeply, and they don't have to be a romantic relationship. It can be a friendship, a super close friendship. It can be a family member, or it can be a romantic relationship. And so a soulmate is somebody that you just know each other. Like, you just get each other. You accept each other for who you are. Like, you're super comfortable around each other. And usually there's an attraction, even if you're friends or family, like, you know that you're drawn to each other. And I'm not saying it's all like sexual energy, of course not, right? But I'm just saying you're drawn to each other. You know you're connected somehow. Like, you probably feel like this person feels like they've been your best friend for years, or you've known them in a past life, or like you're probably on some karmic journey with them. And so the thing is with soulmates is that you never know how long they're going to last, but they're very, very kind of deep relationships where you learn something. Your soulmate relationships always bring you something to learn. So soulmates are to help you increase your consciousness, help you increase your awareness, help you learn more about yourself. And the other person has come to you to teach you something now, and probably you for them. Sometimes soulmate relationships don't end well. Like, sometimes there can be a bad breakup, or, something might happen, and that's okay. Soulmate relationships have a completion. You'll know and you'll feel when it's complete. Right? And so that can mean also in a romantic relationship. Hey, Sue, hey, Kathleen, and Bernadette and MJ. Usually if you're in a romantic relationship, it has the potential to be a life partner, has the potential to be with someone you would want to have a soulmate with you. If you're having a life partner relationship, a soulmate is great because it's somebody who you can grow and expand with, somebody who's going to grow with you, somebody who is on the same page as you. Doesn't mean you're never going to have disagreements, okay? We're humans, but somebody that you really resonate with and just is there to be like very committed to each other. If you're in a relationship, like, you can have it all. Like a soulmate relationship, you can have it all, and it can be super healthy. It does have the potential to, of course, go wrong or be not healthy, and then that's when you know it's at its end, right? Sometimes soulmate relationships, you learn the lesson and it's done. It's done its thing, it's run its course, and you know it. But during the time you were together, you know that it was a deep connection. At one point, you felt that they were there to teach you and you were learning and they were learning. Like, you know that. With a twin flame though, okay? And I think that's really sometimes what people want to know in a reading. You want to know if you're going to meet your soulmate, because your soulmate's the one that you're most likely going to spend the rest of your life with, or have a long-term relationship with, or have a really, really amazing epic relationship with, right? That epic love story. Probably going to be a soulmate, okay? Hate to burst anyone's bubble, but hey, Ange, probably not going to be your twin flame. Although it can be, there are always exceptions to the rule, okay? Nothing is gospel here. Hey, Brittany, I am awesome. I hope you are well also. So, twin flames are, instead of being like your soul in a soulmate relationship, you're like two spiritual beings who made a soul contract to be together in this lifetime for whatever you agreed to, whether it's a week, a month, a year, a decade, a lifetime. You don't know until you go through it. You're here to teach each other something. You may have traveled together in past lives, or you may have some karma that needs to be finished or needs to be resolved in this lifetime. You might be working out some karma, right? That's your soulmate. Your twin flame, but you're two separate souls. You might be in the same, like coming from knowing each other in the past. So you're coming from a familiar place, a familiar energy, but you're different souls. Your twin flame is actually your soul that has gotten so big in its consciousness, right? You've grown and you've expanded in the spiritual world that your soul has split, okay? And you can incarnate on earth together. Now, twin flames are not that common, okay? So I'm just gonna say this. You can do a reading for this and it's super fun and you never know, but most likely twin flames don't usually incarnate together in this lifetime. Usually don't. Usually what happens is one incarnates and the other one is a spirit guide for the one that's incarnated, okay? Usually guiding them in the area of love, okay? Twin flames usually guiding you in all areas, but especially when it comes to those romantic relationships, okay? So that's usually how it rolls. On the occasion, hey, Allie, twin flames can incarnate together. And they are not, it doesn't necessarily mean you're meant to be together though. It's a really difficult relationship. I will say this, probably 95% of the time to maybe even 98% of the time, a twin flame relationship is not this beautiful partnership that it sounds like. The word twin flame sounds like, and I think people often use the word loosely, use the phrase loosely, like, oh, I've met my twin flame. This person completes me. They set me on fire. They're my twin flame. We are one. Okay, maybe, but usually you're not that excited about it, because usually the twin flame relationship is really, really painfully difficult. And you might be talking about a soulmate relationship instead of a twin flame, because the soulmate is more of the, like, you are two complete souls who come together, but you may have that yin yang feeling, where the twin flame relationship, you're not going to have that like complete me feeling necessarily. You're going to feel like it's a part of you though. Like if you're incarnating with your twin flame in this lifetime, you'll feel drawn to each other. That's for darn sure. Sometimes you can't avoid coming across each other, even though you may try. Okay. You're probably going to be drawn together somehow. But the thing is, your twin flame is you, okay? It's just you incarnated in someone else's body, half of you. So it's like this push-pull relationship like this. Like you'll be super attracted to them, but then you'll be like, oh God, because it's like you're reflecting the things that the other one doesn't like in each other, right? So it's like an attraction and a repellent at the same time. You are here your twin flame is going to reflect what you need to learn. And sometimes that pisses you off. And you run away from each other because you're like, the hell with this. And it seems really chaotic and it seems really painful. The only way a twin flame relationship is going to work here in the earthly plane is if both people are willing to do the work and learn the lessons. If they can get out of that chase, run shit. And most of the time they can't. So they're going to have to grow apart. And they're going to have to go other places to grow and to learn their lessons. They may come back together, but they may not. If you do get together, then of course, you can have like a really, really harmonious, healthy relationship, which is awesome. But again, you have to be willing. And when you're together with your twin flame and you're doing the lessons and you're going in the healthy direction, then the work for the two of you is to put put your energy out. So the soulmates are learning within. So the soulmates teaching you lessons to learn within, to grow your own consciousness. The twin flames together have learned their lesson, and now they're helping to, change the vibe of the world. Like they're going out and they're doing their higher calling. And they're kind of like growing to that even next level. So you've learned your lessons, and now together it's like, whoa, like now it's your next level spiritual growth. So it's heavy duty. It's nothing to take lightly. But oftentimes, like I said, they don't incarnate on the same plane usually, but it can happen. And if you think it's happening, then absolutely, it's fun to have a reading on that and see where you're at and see what the energy is around the two of you and what you're here to learn from each other, right? To help you navigate the twin flame relationship easier, because a lot of times as humans, we don't get it. And we're so freaking frustrated that we just don't even know what to do about it. And it will seem like, those movies, those romantic movies, or those like romance movies where it's so annoying, where they just the timing is always off, right? And you're just like, geez, get it together. The two of you have this thing, just fucking get it together. That's like twin flames. There's always you know what I mean? There's always just the right time for someone, the wrong time for the other, blah, blah, blah. It's so crazy. Glenda says, do twin flame have to be a romantic connection, or cannot be two related people? Sisters are best friends. I believe from what I've read, it's usually romantic. Like a soulmate can be anybody, like a sister or a best friend or anything like that. But usually a twin flame is romantic. That's what I understand. But I could be wrong. Like I said, there's always exceptions in spiritual stuff. To me, there's no hard and fast. It can be exceptions to the rule. So I just want to be sure that when you're booking this reading, if you're interested in these love readings, the soulmate readings and the twin flame readings, that you book the right one that for you. So make sure you know the difference between the twin flame and the soulmate, and which one you're asking about for yourself before you do that. Because I do think a lot of times people assume or think that a twin flame relationship is what they're going for, and they think that's their soulmate when it's really a soulmate. So just wanted to fill you in on that. Now, here's the other part that I want to just talk about real quick before we go is be sure, if you think you've met your twin flame, I want you to meditate and reflect on this, and you can get a reading on this too, but make sure you know the difference between a twin flame and a toxic relationship. Like, that's the thing. That's another thing, because there are all sorts of spiritual terms that I find that people can hide behind. Like, these spiritual terms can be used for education, can be used for awareness, and can really be helpful in getting to know yourself and other people and to know your journey. But the dark side of it is sometimes people can use those concepts and those labels and those names to hide behind them, or to like stay stuck in a toxic pattern and use the spiritual reason as an excuse. So I don't want to have anyone say, I met my twin flame, I'm in a twin flame relationship. The other person keeps running from you. So you think, oh, it's a chase run, it's a twin flame, when really someone's just treating you like shit and someone's ghosting you, right? So I want to make sure, because twin flames won't be like super cruel and nasty to you. That's not the point. The point is like, they maybe won't commit, or they just can't deal. And I know sometimes that's toxic relationships too. But in toxic relationships, you feel like shit. Like, you feel like this person is just not like you're not good enough for that person. That's what the toxic relationship makes you feel like. You're not good enough, or they criticize you, they put you down, they ghost you, and they're just like rude about it. It's just nasty. Like, you can tell that there's a difference in the way you feel. Check in with the way you feel. Your twin flame absolutely adores you. Might get aggravated with you and might like get overwhelmed by you and have to like go run. But there's a mutual respect and admiration for one another, because it's you. It's like you're so familiar, like you would love you, like you might reflect some of the unpleasant things within each other and go, okay, I need a break. Or maybe this person isn't for me. Like, you may question the relationship. Is this a fit? But you won't be mean to the person. They won't be toxic to you and treat you like crap and make you feel disrespected or make you feel like you're not good enough or that there's something wrong with you, right? That's not what the twin flame does. It's just, like I said, it's either run and chase, but it's kind of just an annoying timing thing, like timing, or it's just like overwhelm. Or I'm not sure, So just know the difference and just really be honest. Be super, super honest with yourself. Super honest. And just say, okay, which is it? Is it a twin flame or is it a toxic relationship? And I'm just using the twin flame thing as an excuse to stick around and to try to make this work. Because, by the way, if you try to make things work really hard like that, you're gonna repel it every time, whether it's twin flame or otherwise. You're going to repel it. And I'm not saying it's your fault if someone's toxic to you. Like, put up some boundaries and see you later, right? Like, that's just no. That's where you have to just really stay true to who you are and like raise your standards and not put up with that. But and I just totally lost where I was going. with that. Oh well. Marie says that's so me right now. Oh goodness, you'll have to tell me more about that, or send me a message. Tell me what's going on. So just know that difference, right? Just know that difference in how you feel with that person, because you don't want to use as an excuse to stick around and just get in a toxic pattern of abusive relationship, or just you chasing. So that's what I was doing. Manic manifesting. That's called manic manifesting, where you're trying so hard to get something or get someone, where first of all, that energy is repellent to the other person. Even if it's like money, even if you have that I gotta get, like if you have to get money, That's just, how would you feel, right? If someone was like, I must have you, you keep running and I want to grab you and keep you and pet you and hug you and your name is George, right? You're like, ugh, like, stop, chill. So that's the energy that you put out when it's a toxic relationship. You're like chasing and trying to convince the other person that you're good enough. That's not a twin flame. Twin flame is just like a headache and a nuisance, and you're like, oh my God, this just never seems to work out. But you still adore each other. And with a twin flame, you feel like you're connected. Even when you have those periods of being apart, you can sense each other. You can sense each other. You can sense how the other one feels. You might pick up on if they're very sad or if they're very happy or if they've been physically hurt or physically sick. You may pick up on it and feel it too. You may find yourselves like picking up the phone and calling each other because you heard the same song at the same time. Or you might find yourself, if you're in person, like finishing each other's sentences or like saying the same thing at the same time, like you're thinking the same thing. Or maybe you call your twin flame and they're doing the exact same thing you're doing. Like that's twin flame stuff. If if you're, like I said, if the person's just ghosting you, that's not twin flame. That's just being an ass. That's just being an ass, and it's like moving on. And then why is it so difficult though? Because it's, like I said, the timings seems to always be off, or the two people, the twin flames, never seem to be on the same page. That's what's frustrating. It's tough because you're waiting on yourself to do the growth, and you can't. Both sides, even it's the same soul, like the other person may not be willing to learn the lessons right now, may not be open to learning in that way, may not be open to expanding. And they're just repelled by you right now. They don't want to see it. They don't want to learn it. They don't want to know it, or they don't want to hear it from you. Kind of like when your mom's always right, but you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it from your mom, but then your friend will say something and you'll be like, oh, really? Yeah. So that's what it is with twin flame. It's like real. It's almost like, just being defiant with each other. I'm not going to do this with you. When, it's crazy. He wants, but don't want to commit to just me. Well, then that's another thing that I wonder about with twin flames. If they could be served, like if they could make it, if twin flames, if anyone was going to make it in an open relationship, or like a poly relationship, that would probably be twin flames because they love each other, but they need a break from each other. So, like those kind of relationships could probably work with twin flames. And then if they're doing the work, they're there to help each other do the work, but they also have that break time. I don't know. It's all what you want. It's all what you want, what your vision is for your ideal epic love. And if that ain't it, then the twin flame just needs to, you have to put up your boundaries if the twin flame's not willing. I know it's hard. I know it's really hard because you feel like when you're apart, sometimes they drive you nuts, but then when you're apart, you feel like you're missing something, like you're missing a part of you, and it stinks. Like kind of like that yin yang. But like this crazy yin yang where I feel like soulmates do a nice, can do a nice yin yang sometimes, where it's a little more difficult with twin flames. That's what he wants, but I don't. Oh, so he wants like a poly or an open relationship. Yeah. I so hear you. I had a relationship like that in my 20s where probably we could have been okay if it was like, if I was willing to open it up, but I just wasn't there at that point. I just didn't no, but I hear you. Bingo. Bingo. I know, but you know what? This is like evolution in consciousness though with relationships. That's a whole other topic that I feel like is starting to open up now, where it's like monogamy versus poly versus like open relationships or whatever. Like, this is I feel like next level of consciousness for people in relationships, because our minds are becoming more open to other ideas, where we were always programmed, even in my generation, Gen X, we were programmed that the goal was to get married to one person and one person for life. Who knows if that's really the way it's supposed to be? I don't know. I think we're starting to question that a little bit now and say, well, if we can have more than one soulmate, right? Or is that really the way it's supposed to be? Or does sometimes relationships come to completion, hence divorce? Sometimes relationships just come to a completion. Sometimes people may get divorced for reasons that, maybe they could have worked on it. But I don't know. Are we getting divorces, or are we just more poly and we're not admitting it to ourselves? That's a whole other topic. We did at one point, but I want to be the only one. That's tough. That's a tough position to be in. That's a tough position. I can imagine that must be really tough. It's mindset. It's all mindset and boundaries and what's right for you and what feels aligned. Like if one person is open to that type of relationship and one's not, that's just not going to work, because someone's going to get hurt. So you have to stand for what you want. Stand for what you want. Hey, Danielle, he says I'm the only one he loves, but he needs others. Yeah. Right? I know. Interesting stuff in 2020, I'm telling you. I don't know. Like, that might be, who knows? And that's the other thing too about like poly and things. Is that true that he loves you but needs others? Or does he need that type of open poly relationship to hide from the intimacy factor? There's other questions too. Like, there's always a question. I question everything. This is why I'm like, I try to keep things super simple when I do spirituality or love, sex, intimacy, and all of that when I'm doing my coaching programs and one-on-one coaching, because there's always other ways to look at it. There's always another level of consciousness to go from, and another point of view, or what if. Always look at the possibilities and do what's right for you. Do what feels aligned. And there's always a darker side to everything that's out there. Every label, every, concept, there's a darker side. There's an extremist, like on the one end and the other end. And then there's kind of like the middle ground. Like, do twin flames stay around you throughout your entire lifetime, or do they show up later in life? You have no idea. You don't know. You don't know at all. They could show up early in your life. They could show up later in your life. That one of the people could, cross over to the spirit world, and one is still here. Like, it can go any way. You don't know. Hi, Kathy. Hey, Ben. I can't seem to let go of him. Oh, I know, sister. Believe that. Believe me, I know. It's hard. It's so hard. I'm sure my husband and I were twin flames. You explain it so perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that. And that's really sweet. Like, that's really fortunate to have a twin flame that you married. That is so rare. So that's a rare gift. Marie says, why? Why what? Which part? Tell me again what you're asking a little bit. Tell me more. Making sure, going back if I missed any other things. Shannon says, yes, run and chase. Our timing has been off for 12 years. Ain't that the thing? That's like oh my God. We finally got together. I didn't want a baby and he did. So he just stopped talking to me because he said if he didn't, he wouldn't go after his dreams of a family. But if someone ghosts you to get out, but feels bad for doing it, definitely we have mutual respect. He was never nasty and we have such an intense attraction. There you go, right? Like that sounds very much like a twin flame for sure. Why let go? Why should you let go? Or why can't you? Which question? Love this clarity. Thank you. You're welcome, Sue. X setting right here. I know we are toxic, but truly care for each other's well-being. Yeah, because twin flames always care. Deep down they care, and you can't break that bond. You just cannot. Let's see. I'm just going back to see if there are any other questions. I don't see. Hi, everybody. This isn't a card reading, Miss Kimmy. We're just talking about the readings in general. So we've been together 8 years, but can't seem to let go because it's hard, because it's a really soul connection, and twin flames have been together in other lives and will continue to be together. Like, this won't be your last rodeo with him. Like it's such a strong tie from other worlds that we can't understand. You've traveled together before, you will again, and that attraction is legit. That's strong. And it's hard. You have to work really hard. I will say that I suspect that I met my twin flame in this lifetime. And I have actually had an Akashic Records reader say this to me, and another psychic medium say this to me as well about this person. So it's hard to think of it that way. Sometimes I'm like, really? But it feels so weird to say, but I have had a couple of confirmations, and I had to literally get physically rid of anything that had any energy around this person. So possessions that I had of his, pictures, like I had clothing, I had anything that resembled anything. I had to give it away. I had to get rid of it. I had to get out. I actually even backed off from a group of friends that we all hung out around with, which was my bad. Like, I was not as evolved, not as much studied as I am now. Like, I was way, not awakened. So I chose to, run and hide. And I had to, disconnect from everything. And it worked. I mean, it really helped. I will say that. It probably wasn't the most emotionally intelligent and mature thing to do, but I had to cut. And anything that would remind me, I had to cut off everything. And that was hard. But it worked. And it was painful as fuck. I will say that. But I also know that, that there was no way that particular, not saying this is of yours, but I know that this particular situation, it would not have worked. Even with all the things, it wouldn't have worked anyway. So it was meant to happen the way it happened. Allison and I are here. Hey, Andrea and Allison. Long time no see, no chat, no anything. I hope you guys are doing amazing. And if you're in Florida right now and I'm freezing up here in New Hampshire, I'm so jelly. It is freezing. You're so lucky. Loved and shared. Thank you, Ben. You're so sweet. How does one know if or when they meet or have met their twin flame? So Ben, watch the replay of this because I talked about that in the beginning, but I'll say a little bit right now that your twin flame is somebody that you will feel an intense attraction to. You'll feel a very strong familiarity, like you've known this person before, you have a lot in common. Either you'll have almost everything in common, or sometimes they'll be the polar opposite of you, because a twin flame is your soul is split in two, incarnated in two bodies. So you'll either be mirrors of each other. Your souls are mirrors. Your soul is a mirror, but you may have opposite interests here or opposite personalities, one's outgoing and one's reserved, or you might be the exact same. But whatever it is, you'll feel that intense attraction. You'll feel that familiarity. You'll feel like you've been together before, and you'll often get along and you'll connect and you'll click. But then it will only go so far. And then it's almost like when you get too close, one of the two will take off and run away, or both will kind of take off. It'll be too much, and or it'll seem like you'll try to get together and then something stupid will happen. The timing is off. In the movies when you just the person, their love of their life is getting off the train and the person's just coming around the corner at 2 minutes after the other one goes away or gets, you know what I mean? The timings, they just miss each other, or something happens and one person can't get there, or they say the wrong thing in the moment, and I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Those weird timing things, and those situations where you're oh, just get it together. So it's really difficult and it's painful, because when you're apart, you feel it. You feel like you're missing them. You feel you're connected still, psychically connected. Sometimes you might even hear them. You might feel them or sense them. You might get signs a lot, when you're thinking of them or that remind you of them, or I remember I used to always hear this one song before I would see this person that I'm thinking of in my lifetime, this one, every time, or we'd call each other and we'd be eating the same thing. And it wasn't pizza. It was something weird, something not typical. And I was oh, I didn't know anyone ate that. Or we'd be if I knew if he was injured, I would feel it, the strange things, that person's around you and you're so that kind of thing. The other person's sad, you're sad, and then all of a sudden that person will call you or text you out of nowhere. Even if you haven't talked to your twin flame for months or whatever, they'll sense that something's wrong and they'll get in touch. That kind of thing. You're still connected. Where soulmates are really just people that you meet and you get together with to learn lessons from, and you're there to learn and grow, and they have a beginning and they have an end, and they may be life partners. Okay, so you may be together forever. That's the healthy relationship that you want. It's usually a soulmate. And sometimes they're just people who come into your life like friends that you're like best buds with for 2 years, and all of a sudden it's just over. Like, you know, but they were your soulmate, they were your best friend. You know those friends we have sometimes like for a summer, like you meet them at summer camp and you're like best buds and like you share everything and it's like over, you know, like that's probably a soulmate for you, like a soulmate friend. Hey, Gina, I am not doing cards right now. Thank you for sharing, Shannon. That's what I'm doing too, staying away, but still allow him to come around. I can't seem to cut ties. I don't know, Marie, like that's so hard. Like you just, if it doesn't feel good, then you're going to have to really make more of an effort to try to cut ties more and like take more space. Like if it really doesn't, like if it's getting to the point where it's affecting other areas of your life and really like, you know, turning into a toxic pattern where it affects everything else, then you know, like, okay, I got to do something extra with this. Like I have to do more cord cutting rituals. I have to be more distant for a while and just say, I love you, but like, I need some space right now. Like, or I don't know, you know, like it's up to you and how you want to feel. How do you want to feel? How do you want your relationship to make you feel? And if that relationship isn't putting you toward that vision, then it's time to make some decisions and like might have to take some pretty serious action, even though it's hard and it's uncomfortable. You're kind of forcing the relationship to go into another mode, like another phase. Like I need to go and learn and grow and get stronger with this. I have to learn to be a part, and I have to learn to stand up for what I really want. That's my lesson right now. So it has to be your willingness to learn the lesson and grow and expand and trust the divine that you're not going to be missing out even by going away, because whatever's meant for you will not pass by you. If that twin flame is meant for you, they're not going to leave you. Like you're not going to miss anything by going away. You're just going to do what you have to do. And your soul contract is still the way it's supposed to be. Can't stop that. Shannon says, he said to me, I didn't think we would be so connected. To be honest, me either. His apartment looked like a male version of my house. We had the same goals, yeah. In life, he has a lot growing up to do, but I definitely feel like something is missing since we haven't been together. Aw, see, that sounds like a definite like twin flame relationship for sure. Yeah, they're like the male version of you. Or if you're in like a same-sex relationship, the female version, like it's just, you just kind of know. Thank you. That is a big help for me to understand you. Rock, Jennifer. Ben, you're always so supportive and sweet, and you're like just making a girl's day. Thank you so much. Literally. Yeah. Seriously, it's weird. It's weird. Like I said, that's why it's like attractive and yet repellent at the same time, because it is. It's like you're like, is it almost feels like your romantic partner are like family because they know you so well and they're so alike. You're like, it's like this weird sensation. Thank you. Makes sense. You're welcome, Marie. It says you Rick. Are you telling me I rock? Because I don't know what it means to Rick. I can rock, but I don't know if I can Rick. So true. You rock, Jennifer. Thank you, Shannon. You guys are awesome. I'm so happy to help with this because it's so important. I think we are so craving this. Like we're all humans, right? Craving that deep soulmate connection, which sometimes our twin flame can bring us, but most of the time they don't. It leaves us with emptiness, or we just don't incarnate together. And your twin flame is on the other side guiding you. So know that, you're always together. Allison wants to know, can you be both? Well, that's a good question. I would say probably not, because a twin flame relationship is characteristically difficult. If you're with someone and they're a soulmate, you kind of know, it's kind of like somewhat easy peasy, like somewhat kind of rolls. You don't have that chase run and that whole like confusion thing with a soulmate. So if you've had that from the beginning, that's probably a soulmate. If a twin flame relationship works out, I would say it's like a soulmate relationship. Like it's very close, it's very intimate, it's very comfortable, it's very healthy, but it's still a twin flame. I wouldn't say it's a soulmate. It's just a really healthy twin flame connection. But that's rare. That is a rare thing. Rare. So Marie's like, LOL. Hearts to you as well. Love you guys. Love you, Marie. And Been single almost 3.5 years. Just be happy where you at. First time here. Lenore, what's up, girlfriend? Welcome. Yeah, you know what? Like, you're a complete soul. You don't need, technically, we are human beings and we love connection because we're human. On the spiritual plane though, our higher selves, we don't need the connection because we are connected. We know that we're all one, and we have that sense of well-being, connection, and love, and we don't need the human stuff. We don't have the need to feel loved. Here, a lot of humans, we have to be loved, we have to be seen, we have to be heard, which is nice, right? It feels nice, and we can go for that. We sure can, but always know that you're whole and complete, and you're loved, and you're seen, and you're heard by Creator Source. Always. So that just validates you. That just tells you you're worthy infinitely. And that tells you that you're always loved. So you don't need it from anyone. That's why you don't need anyone's approval. You don't need their validation. You're always good enough because you are here. You're alive. By definition, you're good enough. And our humanness wants to look and seek and find and get that feedback. So if you can be single and totally thrilled. I wish I was more awake in my 20s and just could enjoy being single and have fun doing my thing. And if I was dating, cool. If I wasn't cool, I wasn't like that at all. I was like always like needing to be in a relationship or in some sort of relationship drama or some dumb shit like that. And I could have had so many more experiences. I guess that's my soul contract though. Like, I don't look back and regret it and kick myself because that's what my soul signed up for, was to be a dumbass in my 20s. Thanks. Thanks so much, but it's okay. It's all good. Like, there it is. But if you're doing that and you're single and you're, digging it, fucking rock that shit and then teach other people how to do it. You could be a coach. Where are you, Lenore? You could be a coach for people to be single. I would love to see that. A coach who, instead of a love coach trying to get people paired up or whatever, coach them into being rocking the single life. Shit. You know how many people hate that and they feel freaked out by that? You have a gift there, my friend. So rock that out. Seriously. Hey, Sarah. I really think he's my twin flame. It's very difficult, but I know in my heart that we will always be connected. Aw, that's so cool though. And that's a great relationship to have, even though it's so hard sometimes. Adrienne, hello, mama. Oh my gosh, I have to message you about homeschooling and home business. We have to have this conversation because I'm like, shit, dude, this is so important. So are twin flames meant to be together, or does it depend on the individual case? It depends on the twin flame soul contract, what they're meant to do here. Sometimes, most of the time, they are not meant to be in a lasting romantic relationship. It just doesn't fucking work. The two usually aren't ready to grow together, and they aren't ready to learn the lessons, and the reflection of themselves in the other is too repelling. So they'll be super attracted and super repelled and usually end up apart or back and forth and in that craziness until one of them or both of them meets a soulmate. Then it kind of quiets down because when you're in a soulmate relationship, the twin flames can kind of chill a little bit. Doesn't mean they'll forget each other. Doesn't mean their connection will be any less, but it won't be so much drama. And they might just be happy and content like that. In this lifetime, they're not meant to be romantic partners. Usually your twin flame is on the other side guiding you because it's your mirror soul. It's you split in half. So it sounds gross. It's you incarnated in two bodies. So you're usually guiding yourself on the other side. Shannon Spurgeon, yeah. Single and enjoying it. Shannon, that's awesome. I love that. I so love that. I am not someone who's going to say, oh, so don't you want to get married? When are you going to meet someone? Like we have to always, being single is something to be afraid of or be upset about or have it be not good enough feeling. Fuck that shit. You know what's the worst saying ever? This was when I was in my 20s. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. That was me. I think I was a bridesmaid 7 times before I got married. And that was the thing. It was people used to say that and joke. And you're like, how shitty is that? And of course, me at the time, miss insecurity and miss so asleep. I was all freaked out by that. I gotta get married. And what happened? I got into a marriage with a super nice guy. The first guy I married, my first marriage, super nice guy, but we weren't soulmates, and we didn't have that connection, so it didn't last, it's unfortunate. Like, very nice guy, like nothing wrong there, but it's just like, when you make decisions out of fear and like that, then that's what happens. You're not aligned, and it's like, oh shit. And some people end up staying there forever in that not aligned relationship, marriage. And they get pissed, and they're miserable. Their soul is sucked out of them. They are just jaded. They're like, cynical. They're like, have no sex life, so they're perpetually bitchy. It's like, and they're like, it's like marriage. That's what it is, like a ball and chain. If you have to say that about a marriage or a long-term relationship, it's just not aligned, I think. Like, it should be like, it's come on now. So that's what happens. We get into relationships because we're not in touch with our higher selves. People ask me, like, am I just teaching Psychic as Fuck Bootcamp to learn how to read cards? I'm like, no, it's not just about that. Yes, I'm going to teach you how to read cards. By the way, this is my program starting tomorrow. The doors close in 7 hours. So if you want to join Psychic as Fuck Bootcamp, message me now, because it's closing and we're done. I just had 2 people sign up today, so I have very limited space, and we're closing the doors. And it's all about growing your psychic gifts and growing your intuitive gifts. And it's not just for card reading. It's not just for mediumship reading, although yes, we're going to do that. But it's also about getting in alignment with yourself and knowing your intuitive self, listening to your intuition, knowing what your intuition sounds like, so that you don't get into relationships that aren't aligned. If you find yourself doing that, I was stuck in that pattern for decades before I figured it out. And it's so sad because, divorces are painful. And especially when kids are involved, it's so painful. And if I was just in touch with my intuition from the beginning, I would have made different choices. And this is no insult at all to my ex-husband at all. Like, not just as, that's the kind of like the painful side of not being in touch with your intuition. So that's why I created this program, not just for reading cards and swinging pendulums and doing that. It's because you want a life that's aligned with you. Otherwise, you make choices out of fear. You make choices out of doubt. You make choices due to what your mom and dad told you all your life. And then that's for them. That's their life. You make choices what the school tells you, what your mom and dad tell you, what the church tells you. That's their path. That's their journey. So you're making decisions based on someone else's life and what their expectations of what you should be and who you should be. That never works. You end up miserable on a soul fucking level. So, like I said, you want to get involved. This 10-week program, Psychic as Fuck Bootcamp. I'm going to help you through all this because it's got to be done. Shit, we have to awaken more so that when we see the world as it is and all this chaos and hate and anger, it's because people aren't aligned with themselves. So they're looking to the government and other things to tell them who to be and who to like and who's okay and who's not okay and how much money they can have. Fuck. We're like, no more. Like, no more. I don't want to empower people by lobbying for the next president, or I don't want to advocate for people by arguing politics. I want to advocate for people by getting you in touch with yourself so that you are making choices that feel good to you and are aligned with you and actually help you to have an amazing life, so you're not walking around fucking triggered every 5 fucking seconds, okay? You know what I'm saying? Because that life sucks. Who wants that? We're not here for that. We weren't created for that. Sarah says, I have always said I want my husband in my life, but I don't need him. And there are people who think that I'm just mean, but it's true. I totally get you, sister. I get you. And it's not. It's actually the most loving thing, because you're saying, I am complete and I'm okay. You're not putting that pressure on him to complete you. You're giving him the freedom to be who he is and show up and be two sovereign souls to choose to be together. You're choosing. I think that's beautiful. I think you're giving him a gift. So, not mean. Ben says, I'm single, never been married, no kids, no pets, just a few plants. Ben, you are awesome because plants are these beautiful spiritual beings and you're caring for them. What an empath you are. That must be so sweet. So I am hoping that you have this beautiful nurturing space for yourself. And, we need someone to take care of these plants and nature. We need some people out there to take care of nature. But, then what is your vision for yourself? Is your vision to like really enjoy this life and just be really, really like, what am I looking for? Be really fulfilled in what you're doing. Or if you desire to have a relationship, what's your vision for that? What's your vision for your relationship? What would be your ideal, amazing soulmate relationship? And picture that, visualize that, manifest that baby. However, I've also said he would be the one that has the ability to potentially break me. I'm sure he could really cause a lot of pain for sure. But by definition, you are whole and complete. You are unbreakable. You might go through painful stuff. Absolutely. Go through a painful lesson. If someone hands you a painful lesson, especially someone that's close to you, of course that's going to fucking hurt. But your soul will have to process that, and your soul will have to take the lesson from that, but you will rise again. Ben says, being in a relationship is more challenging for me. I can do it. I have done it, but it never lasts long, no matter how good or bad I am, and I'm always good. So that may mean that that right now your soul's purpose was to have short-term relationships, was to just kind of be there and be present in those relationships, and that they came to completion. They had a natural end, and that's okay, right? If you're not happy or fulfilled with that, then visualize, your next partner and how you want that to feel and how you want it to look in your life. But our culture tells us that these short-term relationships are not what we're supposed to want. That's bad. Like, who says? Like, who fucking says? You know what I mean? Like, who says that that's bad? That's just, you're learning and you're growing and you're experiencing life and whatever, and you're going kind of with that flow. And the only time when we have trouble is when we are like, we let the programming get to us to the point where we don't feel good enough and we feel like we're screwing up, and then it affects our everyday life because we go down a spiral. But you're loved, you're always loved, and you're always protected and guided. So whatever your soul is signing up for, it will come to you. And whatever you're trying to manifest to, you can manifest stuff. You're awesome. Makes total sense. Never been either. Oh my gosh, me too. Darla, Darla, we've been talking about that. We know. You've got one of these live ones happening. Shannon says, people tell us growing up that our life's purpose is to be married with kids. It makes it hard to embrace being single. Exactly. It's all programming. Who says? Like, just because somebody wrote that in the Bible, that's a human, who wrote that. And I'm sorry if I love Jesus and I love God. And with all due respect, I think the Bible is full of amazing wisdom. I think it's also full of some mind control things like that somebody just said is the right way to be. And why is that the end all be all? Who says? As long as the people involved are truly happy, rock that shit out. Being single is not a bad thing. Being single is very freeing and allows you to be you. Hell yeah. I wish I knew that when I was single. I didn't know that when I was single. So I was always miserable being single. And it's like, what the hell was the matter with me? What was the matter with me? I could have I don't know. It's another story. I'll just think of that in my head. Shannon says, that's one thing I miss. I can't do one night stands. And that's cool. Like, being single doesn't have to mean one night stands either. Like, it's all what feels good and feels aligned. There's no right or wrong there. It feels aligned. And of course, what keeps you safe, keeping body safety. I'm single and okay with it now, but still open to a new relationship. Glenda says, as long as it resonates with me and my true self. Amen. And I think the journey you've traveled has revealed that to you more and more. Like, you've gotten stronger in your resolve to stick to your guns and know what your visualization is and not compromise. And I think that's badass. So badass. Sarah, hello. Tanya, hello. Hey, Samantha. Oh my gosh, Samantha knew me when I was a complete fucking, relationship moron. Oh my God, remember that? Oh my God, that was such a mess. I was so asleep to my own self. So asleep. So unhealthy in relationships. Hey, Samantha says, I've been in a marriage for 25 years and my intuition says he is not the one. Wow, girl. Oh my gosh. Well, message me if you ever need to chat. I'm here for you. Yeah, been there. So I can, not as long as that, but I had that happen. So, sending you love and hugs, and I get it. It's so hard, especially when there's little ones, and even if they're big ones, it's still hard. So that relationship may have come to its natural completion. It had an end date. It had a cycle, and it could be coming to that end. And I think that happens, and doesn't have to be a bad thing. You know who's good to listen to about this is Dr. Shefali. If you haven't heard of her or watched her before, she talks about this with marriages, how divorce or how separation doesn't happen. I'm not saying you're doing that or that's what you should do. I'm just, giving an example to people who feel that way and maybe thinking about going that road, that it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It shouldn't be viewed as a bad thing. It's just a cultural view, but it can be very healthy, especially if the relationship has come to a natural end. So she's awesome. I think she's been on Oprah's Super Soul Sunday, but she was my favorite, probably one of my favorite interviews on the Awakened Empath show that I did last year. So lots of wisdom, so good. Conscious parenting and conscious family. She does, or I think are her books. Shannon says, hell yeah. Sarah says, we have been bad for each other, but we have so much history. I love him so much what keeps us coming back to each other. Do you think it's a twin flame or a soulmate? What is her name? Dr. Shefali, Shefali. Dr. Shefali. You can find her on Instagram. You can look up her website. She is awesome. She's amazing. It's like very, next level consciousness in parenting and relationships. And it's really, really good. And, self-love for women and stuff. Very good. Hey, Melanie and Denise. So I know. So if you think, and Sarah, that's what I was talking about. Do you think it's a twin flame? Or do you think it's a toxic relationship that's just like an addictive pattern? Those are two different things. So that's what you have to really be self-aware and honest and decide in your own soul what that is. Because I think they can be mistaken, twin flames and some toxic relationships, or people are just kind of addicted to the pattern of it. That would probably I would even say when it's a toxic pattern like that and it's not a twin flame, that could even be a soulmate who's making having you learn a lesson, maybe not a pleasant one, but they're having you learn a lesson and you're strongly connected. You know what I'm saying? See how tricky this can be? But I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. So anyways, any other questions from y'all, or you want to talk anything more about this? This is so fascinating to me. I love this stuff. I have, just to tell you what's going on. So on my website, soulalignedreadings.com. Hold on a second. Samantha, let me put this in the comments. There, that's her name, Dr. Shefali. So soulalignedreadings.com. I have 4 love readings. 2 are soulmate. One is for a single person wanting to manifest soulmate. The second one is for a couple to test out kind of your soulmate compatibility. And the other 2 are twin flame readings. One is, are you going to meet your twin flame? And the other one is, I think I've met my twin flame. What's the scoop in this relationship? So go to soulalignedreadings.com. I will put all that information in the comments again so you can see it. Those of you who want to jump into Psychic as Fuck Bootcamp, my 10-week program to help you grow your intuitive gifts and your psychic gifts and become confident and let go of fear and the bullshit. We start tomorrow. So the doors close very soon. So message me ASAP if you want to grab your spot there. And I'm going to be, if you're really caught in toxic patterns and you're really caught in limiting beliefs and you find the same old annoying, heavy stuff happening in your life, it could be due to some deep-seated fears, maybe even some trauma that you're dealing with, and you may have some shadow work that needs to come out. I'm going to be running the second run of my program. I just did a program called Becoming Fearless as Fuck, where we just finished yesterday. It was so good. So much happened. Major things happened in there. So lots of things. And I'm going to make that was my first time running it. Loved it. The people in there did amazing. I'm going to make a little tweaks to it just to see, do some tweaks, add some things, and then I'm going to run it again. Probably run it in April. And I'm going to start talking about it next month or this month, February, and I'm going to open the doors for the early bird. So if you're interested in the Fearless class, I think I might even rename it, but I'm not sure yet. But if you're looking to bust out of fears and shit and toxic patterns, let me know that you want to be on my wait list for that program, and that'll be coming out soon again. Whew, that was a lot to say. So I feel like I've just been yakking away. So that's it. So if you guys are all good, I love you all so much. And as always, I just appreciate your time because it's precious, I know. And just for being here with me and chatting and talking. Thank you for all the questions. I love, love, love hearing from you and chatting. If you feel like this video would be helpful to anyone who's wondering about twin flames and soulmates and what the hell is going on with my love life, please share this video. If you share it, please comment that you shared, because I do drawings for free readings every week. And that's how I get your name, from that. So I go back and read the comments. I don't always have time to comment back on every single one. I wish I did, but the volume of comments that I get is usually a lot. So I definitely go and read them. Hey, Araceli, namaste, girlfriend. Love your nail color. What is it? This is China Glaze. China Glaze. Frostbite. Frostbite. I don't know if you can see that. It's Frostbite. But thank you, Ben. So just definitely, what was I saying? So just appreciate you. I just totally appreciate you. And always sharing this video out. And so if people, let me know so I can put your name in the drawing. I think that's it. All right. I love you guys so much. Have an awesome, amazing Saturday night or Sunday morning if you're on the other side of the globe. And I will see you on the next video. Take care and have an amazing night.